of North Dakota State. 72-70 the final in that one. As we tip it off, North Dakota State gains control. Vinny Shaheed into the front court for the first time for the Bison. As you look at your starting lineup for North Dakota State, brought to you by Vermilion Area Chamber and Development Company. The big man inside with it now is Rocky Cruiser, and he works around Tyler Hagedorn and lays it in with the left hand.
Right away you see North Dakota State attack inside. They want to make Hagedorn have to guard in the post, see if they can pick up a foul, but they didn't.
First five now for South Dakota on the screen. Stanley Amude inside to Tyler Hagedorn. Big man for big man, but Hagedorn's attempt rolls off the front rim, and Cruiser pulls in the rebound.
Well, Jay, even though the first two possessions have been paint touches, I think the three-point arc is something we're really going to pay attention to. Both these teams can really stroke it from there.
Eddie Shaheed blows past Tristan Simpson. North Dakota State strikes 2 for 2 to start the ball game. And slow starts, Brad, despite the hot play of late for South Dakota. Slow starts have been a bit of an issue for Todd Lee's team, as they've fallen behind by double digits in several of those games, including last week's win here against Western Illinois, where they trailed by as many as 11 in the opening 10 minutes of that one. And they start 0 for 2 from the floor here tonight.
Obviously, they got to be really careful about that here tonight against a very good North Dakota State team and a team that can really defend and control tempo. It's tough to come back against the Bison.
Tyree Edey had a career night in that first matchup against South Dakota. Passes out. Here's Shaheed with 10 on the shot clock. He's guarded by Cody Kelly. Cruiser, 6'10", spots up for 3 and left it short.
Now, Cruiser, a capable three-point shooter, but South Dakota's probably going to be okay if he's taking some attempts. He's only about 30% on the season in the Summit League.
Hagedorn off the run, off the window and good. First two of the night for Tyler Hagedorn, the Summit League's leading scorer on the season at 18.7 for contest, but that guy right there has been even better than him in conference play.
Yeah, Shaheed leading the Summit League, nearly 22 points a game, and twice he has gotten past Tristan Simpson all the way to the rim.
Simpson trying to return the favor on the other end. Absorbs some contact, and the lay-in comes up short. Shaheed sets the offense now. Picks up a screen from Cruiser. Edey passed up a wide open lane to the rim there. And now kicks it out. Late shot clock. Shaheed with 5 and counting. Hagedorn guarding him. Edey, desperation. 3 and it goes.
Wow, big time shot there for North Dakota State. And Jay, they're a team, they're okay running the shot clock down. They don't panic when it gets to that point. But I tell you, that was really good defense by USD, but just a nice shot by Edey there.
Fall-away jumper for Tyler Peterson, gets through the hole.
South Dakota's going to look for some mismatches in the post when they can get him. Peterson, an efficient scorer around the rim, got one there.
Ward's all alone underneath. Took him a second to realize it, but just goes up and shoots it through with the left hand. It's 11-4 North Dakota State. If you're David Richmond, you couldn't ask for a much better start than this on the road.
Yeah, terrific. They're 5 of 6 from the field here.
Peterson battling physically inside with Ward. Scores off the window. Nice turnaround move there for Peterson, who scored the last 4 now for South Dakota.
Yeah, a physical advantage definitely in Peterson's favor in that matchup.
USD's got to find a way to get them slowed down on this end of the floor, though. North Dakota State doing about anything it wants offensively right now. That's going to be a travel on Tyson Ward. So the first turnover of the night for North Dakota.
The first matchup, and that's something that South Dakota's really got to be aware of. They've got to get out to those shooters.
Seems like they've been paying some attention to the perimeter here early. North Dakota State's taking advantage of that inside, scoring 6 of their first 11 in the paint. Speaking of scoring 6, Tyler Peterson has that many here in the first 4.5 minutes for South Dakota, and he's got the Coyotes back within 3 here.
Now with this lineup, South Dakota's got multiple options in the post, and Peterson's the guy right now.
Offensive rebound there for Tyson Ward off the miss from Cameron Hunter. Sam Griesel into the game for the first time as well for North Dakota State. He's got it there off a nice dump pass from Ward, but unable to convert.
USD very fortunate there. Mude lost vision.
Nice step through there for Mude. He covers a lot of ground with that length, Brad. He lays it in. And Coyotes, who have trailed by as many as 7 here in the early going, have it down to a 1-point ball game at 11-10.
Well, they've strung together a couple stops on this end. That's what's given them the chance to cut into the lead.
Cruiser missed the first time. That one was ugly.
Yeah, Hagedorn at 6'10". His size is going to bother Cruiser.
Griesel poked that away from Amude to force the turnover.
What a play defensively there by Simpson.
Rip Shaheed. Now he goes up. Looked like he wanted the alley-oop. Possibly there for Amude, and a little out of control. Ball sailed well out of bounds, and Simpson hits the deck. Now Chris Quayle into the game for North Dakota State. He'll send Tyson Ward to the bench.
I'd say both these teams take really good care of the ball typically, and if they do get the other team to turn it over, they are great at capitalizing. Both of these guards, Shaheed, Simpson, really can run the fast break well.
2 turnovers apiece thus far as we approach the 6-minute mark of the first half. Here's Cruiser working on Hagedorn. Spins too long off the back iron.
I'll tell you, Cruiser has gone at Hagedorn a couple times, but Hagedorn's done a really nice job defensively so far using his size.
Hags has a big advantage here on Cameron Hunter, trying to shield off the much smaller guard, and now gets called for a carry.
In this game so far, Jay, North Dakota State has not guarded Tyler Hagedorn with Rocky Cruiser, so they're not putting their post on him. It's been other players, and I think a lot of that is they want to make sure they're getting out to the 3 and contesting there. It also allows them maybe to do a little more switching when Hagedorn gets involved in the ball screen action, and so far you'd have to say it's worked all right. Hagedorn only 2 points so far in this game.
Ty Chisholm into the game now for South Dakota. Here's Shaheed working on Simpson. Boy, he's got some quickness to him, doesn't he, Brad?
Yeah, he really changes direction quickly, and his level of penetration with the basketball.
Edie again, late shot clock. Sam Griesel, though, who's been so effective on the glass, Brad, since returning from a knee injury that cost him several games, gets an offensive rebound. Second chance opportunity, though, goes in and out for Vinny Shaheed.
Yeah, to your point, Griesel, just a great energy, toughness guy. That's him right there contesting at the rim.
Chris Quayle, great help defense there to swat that shot away. Now Quayle left alone for 3, but he missed everything.
And North Dakota State has had some pretty good looks from 3 in this game, but just 1 for 5.
Team came in just under 36% in conference play, 3rd best in the league. From the perimeter. And now a foul on that in that post-entry pass there as they try to get it inside to Hagedorn. Foul will go against Griesel. That'll be his first.
You know, when you look to the first matchup between these two teams, North Dakota State started out with Cruiser on Hagedorn, and things didn't go well. USC got off to a pretty good lead in Fargo, but then NDSU went small with their lineup for a lot of the rest of the game, and that served them well. And they've kind of gone that way defensively so far here today.
That foul, by the way, Brad, the first team foul on either side, almost 8 minutes into this game, and we've had 1 personal foul. Tasos Camateros into the game for South Dakota as he spells Hagedorn here early. Peterson over to Simpson, who's fouled on a 3-point attempt by Cam Hunter. And 3 free throws coming up for Tristan Simpson. Cam Hunter thought he got this cleanly, but it looked like maybe Simpson didn't have anywhere to land. Would be the problem.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You've got to give the jump shooter somewhere to put his feet down. And Hunter coming over to contest that sideways. You cannot afford a foul in that case. You've played great defense for 28 seconds there. Get a late contest, but don't foul the jump shooter.
South Dakota, Todd Lee has said it. We're most effective offensively when we're getting to the free throw line. Brad, they did that in Saturday's loss at Oral Roberts. They had 36 free throw attempts. The problem was they missed 12 of them.
Yeah.
And it ended up costing them in that game. as Tristan Simpson steps to the line. First attempts for either side on the night tonight. And he gets 2 of 3. Simpson, first points of the night for him. He's a 76% free throw shooter.
South Dakota, their first lead of the game. And you see it right there. NDSU hasn't scored in over 4.5 minutes in this game. A couple turnovers, some missed perimeter jump shots have all contributed to that.
So Edey draws the foul with 11:50 to play in the
more solid. They were giving up some dribble penetration early in the game, and they've cut that off. They've got out and contested threes pretty well.
Tyree Edey to the free throw line for the first time tonight. 68% on the year. Misses the first. Sophomore out of Middleton, Wisconsin. As I said, at the time, set a season high 18 points in the win over South Dakota back on January 15th. Did 4 threes in that game. Has one here tonight. Gets the second free throw. Gives it 4 here in the first half. Ties the game at 12 apiece as we look at Tyler Hagedorn over there looking on for South Dakota.
Yeah, some people have kind of questioned what his health might be like coming into this game. In the Oral Roberts game, he did have to leave a little bit with looked like maybe a foot or an ankle injury, and you can see it's wrapped there. We'll see here. We need to watch his mobility in this game as you see him and Stanley Mude married to check back in.
We heard you. Ears were burning. Time to get back out there.
Now, Todd Lee, he does a really nice job platooning and getting those guys just, a couple quick minute breaks, but certainly in a game like this, they're going to need their leading scorers out there together.
Ward inside out, Hunter for 3. That won't go, and Chisholm corrals the rebound. Another good defensive possession there for South Dakota. Still no field goals in a long time for North Dakota State.
Yeah, I mean, they had 11 points on the board quick before the first media timeout, but just 1 point since.
By Chisholm. He has really started to pick up his game here in the second half of the Summit League season. Has been a pretty consistent contributor off the bench for Todd Lee and the Coyotes. Still only averaging 4 points per game, Brad, but he's played some big moments for this team, especially when they've been hot.
Yeah, well, the important thing is he doesn't force things, and he shoots 50%. So not taking a lot of shots, but giving them some good contributions.
Tyson Ward goes right at Chisholm. That's a tough finish there on the run. Cut right through the paint, threw it off the square and in.
I'll tell you, Ward has started to find his groove here. Late in his senior year, really being effective in the post.
Nice find there. Chisholm to Tassos Kamateros, the walk-on freshman from Athens, Greece, into the box score for the first time. Kamateros, Brad, didn't even play the first time these two teams crossed paths. Now a turnover, transition. Kelly up the floor. Lay-in is good for Tyler Peterson. He's got 8.
Telling you, Jay, watch anytime a turnover happens. These two teams, in my opinion, are the best in the Summer League at turning turnovers into points. And you see it right there. Rocky Cruiser trying to do something he wasn't capable of, and that one really cost NDSU.
Riesel getting set to check back in for David Richmond and the Bison at the next dead ball. Samuelson on the drive, rolls out. I don't know how that one didn't go.
NDSU's had some scoring trouble, but some of it's been a little bit of just some bad luck. Some shots that are right there that just aren't going in for them.
Simpson feeds over the top, Kamateros. And now Cruiser fouls Tyler Peterson. It's going to be the first for Rocky Cruiser, the 3rd team foul for North Dakota State.
Oh, you look at this game, South Dakota has 18 points, okay? 2 of them came from the free throw line, Jay. The other 16 points in the paint, okay? South Dakota is doing a terrific job looking for mismatches in the posting, getting the ball to those players, and then getting some drives. We've seen Chisholm the last couple possessions doing that too.
And Armstrong call for a travel off the handoff from Tyler Hagedorn. Todd Lee looks puzzled.
I thought it was a good call, actually. I think Armstrong needed to put the ball down onto the deck a little quicker than he did. Now, I'm not saying that maybe gave him much of an advantage what he did, but it was a little bit of a sloppy play.
Shaheed picks up right where he left off before going to the bench. Shaheed 6 points in just over 8 minutes played now. Amude on the attack. Well defended there by Cruiser. And Shaheed right back to the rim again, and he's fouled by Chisholm. So 2 free throws coming up here for Shaheed, who goes just full throttle right to the rim the first 2 times he gets it down the floor after re-entering the ballgame.
Well, they're setting kind of some ghost action, I kind of call it up top. You know, are they going to ball screen for him or are they not? And that's getting South Dakota confused there. And quite frankly, we've seen it with Simpson. That time it was Chisholm just relaxing just a little bit, Jay. And I tell you, Vinny Shaheed is a player that he recognizes that. And when he sees the defender stand up a little bit out of his stance, like you said, he's got another gear to get to the rim.
Top free throw shooter in the Summit League at 88%. Drops them both, and we're tied at 18 apiece.
See North Dakota State guarding Hagedorn with smaller plays, and then they switch the ball screen. Now Shaheed on him, fronting.
Spot up 3 for Amude off the mark. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Ward. That was the first 3-point attempt of this first half for South Dakota. Brad, as you said, the Coyotes have been living in the lane here over the first 12 minutes.
And again, a lot of that talent, North Dakota State's guarding them. Smaller lineups, especially smaller guys on Hagedorn.
Chisholm got good position, and it's a foul plus a goaltend, so the bucket will count, and there's going to be a chance at a 3-point play here.
There you go again, getting it inside. Ball up on the window first, and then Cruiser touched it, so that's why the goaltend got called.
What great patience there from Chisholm underneath. Allowed the defender to get up and into the air, and then went up, unable to convert back into that 3-point play. South Dakota back on top at 20-18, under 8 to play first half. Cruiser. Rebound chased down by Amude.
Yeah, Cruiser in this game 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, and South Dakota has been more than willing to let him take those.
Miscommunication there between Chisholm and Hagedorn. Tyler wasn't even looking for it, and an offensive foul there is whistled against Shaheed.
South Dakota only 6. Really, a lot of the other stats were just a dead heat. We'll see here tonight. 3-point line has not been good really for either team, especially NDSU 1 for 7. South Dakota's only taken 1 3-point attempt in the game.
That was from Stanley Amude. He's 0 for 1. Now Hags and Peterson collide on the perimeter. Here's Tristan Simpson. Drops it off. Amude, good look for 3 this time, and that was way short.
Now Amude's been struggling from 3 of late. Just 1 of 10 in his last 5 games coming into tonight. That one did not look comfortable coming off his hand either.
0 of 2 tonight, 33% on the year coming into the ball game. And outside of that early 7-point lead for North Dakota State, neither side been able to gain much separation here in this first half. Matter of fact, NDSU trouble getting any points on the board here over the last 8.5, 9 minutes.
Yeah, they've only got 7 points in the last 9 plus. That turnover there doesn't go in the plus column either for helping that cause.
5 of them now in the first half, and South Dakota gives it right back. That's going to be 6 for them. Great transition defense, and instead a foul comes against Stanley Amude. That draws a reaction from the Coyote bench.
Now Ward does the right thing here. You want to just go right at that rim, and tell you from that angle, it looked like Amude had a lot of basketball.
That's the first personal for Stanley Amude. 13 foul for South Dakota.
Cam Hunter got away with the travel on this end too.
Ward traveled first. Another turnover for North Dakota State. They came in 6th in the country,
yes,
Brad, averaging less than 10.5 per game, and ththey've got 6. Not even quite 14 minutes into the ball game tonight.
Certainly uncharacteristic of them.
17-footer for Amude, just too long.
Okay, North Dakota State, they are 2 for their last 12 on this end, and they have 3 turnovers on top of that.
Tyree Edey.
There they finally get one. All set up by Shaheed, dribble penetration.
Second 3 of the night for Tyree Edey. 6th now in 3 halves of basketball this season against South Dakota.
North Dakota State continuing to switch a lot of stuff on the perimeter. That is what is taking away the 3-point shot for USD here tonight.
Got called for an offensive foul there against Cam Hunter.
I don't know. We talk about the block charge, Carl, being tough to officiate. This might be one of the harder things to officiate to. To me, that should not have been a call. To me, it looked like Hunter kind of reacted there. Almost maybe could have called a flop. I didn't see a ton of displacement, but I tell you, when you got a 6'10 guy that's being guarded by a 6'3 guy, that's a really hard play to try to gauge like how much contact there really was.
NDSU take advantage. Breeze wide open underneath. Nobody saw him.
Yeah, they did a great job taking away Ward's vision with the double team.
Edey's pass intercepted by Peterson, and now he's fouled by Griesel as the Coyotes try to run the floor. That's going to be the 16th foul for North Dakota State. Second personal for Griesel.
NDSU continues to be sloppy with the ball. Really, both these teams, Jay. 7 turnovers. Might kind of credit the defense being active, but I think offensively, a few too many guys trying to make plays, hero plays, if you will, individually. And these teams are just too solid defensively for that to happen.
Hagedorn's still quiet here.
Yeah, they've been on him
everywhere. Will go against Tyson Ward. So that one will put the Coyotes at the free throw line for the rest of the first half. 1-on-1 situation for Tyler Hagedorn. Chris Quayle checks back into the game for NDSU.
At least no one's guilty of any of these fouls. Looking at these reactions, and it's both teams.
It's genuine shock on both sides.
Well, anyone who's played the game, you've been there. But, yeah.
So Tyler Hagedorn to the free throw line for the first time tonight. He's an 81% shooter on the year. And that one looks true as true can be.
Well, certainly, we make a lot about how well Hagedorn shoots it from the three-point line. And tonight, NDSU's taken that away from him by switching a lot of screens and putting smaller guys on him. But I tell you, he's been great at the foul line. I mean, you don't see 6'10 guys that shoot it as well as he does from the line. He misses that one there, but he said he's been 80+% the whole year.
Tied up again now, 21 apiece. 3 points for Hagedorn here in the first half. He had some space there and didn't take a look at the rim. Hunter up over the top of Hagedorn, almost got it to go.
Tough shot, good help by Hagedorn.
Simpson had it poked away. Somehow managed to not travel there and gets it back to Cody Kelly. Deep three, Hagedorn. That's his spot. First attempt for him, and he drops it through. Nothing but net. 24-21, South Dakota.
Scramble situation. Cruiser has to get matched up, and you can see why they don't want Cruiser on Hagedorn.
Cruiser finally gets one to go, and that evens the game at 24.
See down here, number 34, Cruiser guarding Amude, and that's the matchup NDSU's gone with right here on the ball.
Hagedorn can't make the catch of the pass there, and now Hunter to the rim. He's fouled by Amude. That's going to be 2 for him. Free throws. They try to continue this historic run that they've enjoyed under Don Blitzowite here this season. On the men's side, we're dead even, 24 apiece with 3:39 to play first half. Cam Hunter to the free throw line for North Dakota State. Turnovers have been a big part of the story, Brad, but as we talked about off air, it's not necessarily the narrative that we expected to have about that particular category. We thought both teams generally take pretty good care of the basketball. Neither side forces a ton of turnovers, but here we are. With not even quite 17 minutes into the game, we've got 15 combined.
Yeah, I think it's a big game, first of all. I think some guys have maybe tried to make some individual plays that have caused some of those turnovers. I tell you, both these teams have come in with a good defensive game plan. This is the second time they've matched up. They know each other really well. So scouting at a premium as well.
Hagedorn trying to go up and under there after splitting the defense. It's knocked out of bounds by North Dakota State. South Dakota will get a 20-second reset on the shot clock here. And Ty Chisholm to inbound. Pull-up jumper there for Simpson. No. The putback, no for Peterson.
Golden opportunity there. It's tough to get 0 boards against NDSU, and Peterson had a chance.
Edie going to work on Peterson. Turn around, left it short, rebound. A defensive one for Tyler Hagedorn, and it came right down at his head. Almost another, nope, and it will be another turnover there as Tristan Simpson got out of control and collided with Edie. 16 foul for South Dakota. That's the first personal for Simpson, but USD just a lot of miscommunication type turnovers where guys aren't looking for passes or they're just sloppy passes right now. It's just, that's kind of been the story of the first half. Really, honestly, both ends.
Exactly, and this one in particular, again, North Dakota State switching a lot of the stuff on the perimeter, and that has bothered USD. They haven't seen a lot of teams do that the way North Dakota State's doing it here tonight. That's led to some of those turnovers like you mentioned. Wow.
That's a nasty little spin there for Shahid.
That's a big-time play right there against one of the best defenders in the Summer League. He left Simpson in the dust.
4-point lead for North Dakota State is its largest in quite some time. That one knocked out of bounds by Cam Hunter.
Now, South Dakota plays that way a lot too. Maybe a little bit more up-tempo, a little more higher octane offensively.
Peterson shakes off Cruiser and gets it to go. Tyler Peterson, first player into double figures for South Dakota. He's got 10 to match Vinny Shahid for the game high. Deep three for Shahid. That's a heat check shot there. They fortunate to corral that long rebound. Now Shahid's got it back. Much shorter shot this time, and a foul will be called on Cody Kelly, who cut in front of Shahid and dropped him to the floor. So free throws coming for the senior guard out of Minneapolis.
Yeah, just a tough board because Shahid missed that three so badly. It hit the glass first. And then Shahid really doing a pretty good job there of selling it and drawing that foul. That's what a veteran player is going to do. And no other place on the floor, I think, North Dakota State would rather see Vinny Shahid than right here at the free throw line. He's top 20 in the country, Jay, in free throw percentage and nearly 90%.
As a team, North Dakota State, one of the very best in this category. We talked about what David Richmond wants them to do. He wants them to get to the line. They do that, and they make them when they get there. Just over 79% on the year. Even better than that in conference play at over 83%. And Shahid gets 2 more. And the lead back to 4 for the Bison.
Yeah, just to put that in perspective, that's third best in the entire country. So, yeah, you do not want to see North Dakota State making a lot of trips to the foul line if you're USD here.
Look, 3 for Simpson, and that was ugly off the hand, and he didn't get iron.
Another player that struggled from 3 of late, and quite frankly, this whole South Dakota team kind of late has struggled from 3 in their last 4 or 5 games, Jay. They're off to a tough start tonight, just 1 for 4.
Hunter got Simpson to leave his feet, finds an open Shahid. He drains the triple. It's a 12-2 run for North Dakota State, and they've matched now their largest lead of the half at 7 points.
That was good ball movement. Good job sharing the ball for NDSU.
Tough shot there from Cody Kelly.
South Dakota's got to be really careful here.
Shahid again, that one off the front iron.
It's not a shot that I think Dave Richmond likes, but he might live with a little bit if it's Shahid taking it. Nice look there.
Inside Hagedorn. looked like he lost the handle on the way up there.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting Tyson Ward to come flying in, and great job by Ward seeing the ball while it was in the air, Jay, and being there on the catch to disrupt Hagedorn.
Timeout for North Dakota State with 33 points.
Sell out to contesting the three and really shutting that down, especially when it comes to Tyler Hagedorn, not letting him have looks.
Ward setting up the offense for North Dakota State here late in the first half, and he's going to go all the way to the rim. Shot clock is off now, and Tristan Simpson had it poked away by Jared Samuelson. And a foul there is whistled against the senior out of Gretna, Nebraska.
I know North Dakota State wasn't happy about the call, but honestly, if Simpson gets through there, he might have a driving lane to the basket. It looked like maybe someone did get Simpson on the arm. Tough to tell from that angle. But I tell you what, though, North Dakota State's going to get the ball back here at 13 seconds. So in the end, this might work out okay for the Bison.
South Dakota had been scoreless for nearly 2 minutes before that free throw from Simpson. Got them both. Tyson Ward calls for help with 13.1 seconds remaining in the half. Again, shot clock is off.
South Dakota can't get so spread out here. They got to be ready to clog things up a little bit.
Ward wants to repeat what he did a minute ago. Cody Kelly comes away with a basketball from beyond half court, and it won't go. North Dakota State was pleading for him.
But ultimately, a lot of that may not matter, especially on the men's side this year. These teams very evenly matched throughout the season, and it's going to be a terrific tournament, no question.
Well, as this team from North Dakota State can attest, it doesn't necessarily matter if you finish 1 or 2, because last year they went on quite a run in Sioux Falls and ended up in the NCAA tournament with a 5 seed. If I remember, 4 or 5.
4, I think they might have been the 4, but either way,
off the top of my head, can't recollect, but it started with an impressive showing against Oral Roberts and never cooled down, particularly from the perimeter. They hit 34 three-pointers in 3 games in the Summer League tournament last season. Ended up going to the first 4, and Dayton won that game, and that got to play Zion Williamson and Duke in the first round of the Big Dance. Simpson on the attack. That one doesn't hit anything. Drifted over the top of the rim. Confusion there as Amude thought maybe Edey had gotten a piece of that and let it go out of bounds. Should have maybe grabbed it instead. NDSU will get a chance to inbound from right in front of their own bench here.
Well, let's see. Do these teams, first of all, settle down, taking care of it? Do they get a little bit more of a groove offensively? All in all, a fairly low-scoring first half, especially, Jay, for South Dakota, a team that averages over 80 points a game and leads the Summit League in scoring.
Edey wants to go baseline, now drops it off Samuelson. Jumper won't go. Cruiser tried to tip it back toward the rim, and Tyler Peterson collects the rebound.
Edey starts out on Hagedorn. That's the matchup that North Dakota State is favored.
Foul there on Amude. That's going to be 3 for him.
This is why we have seen so many turnovers in this game. I think guys just pressing a little bit too much to try to make the individual play. This is a great matchup for Amude, but just a little too aggressive that time, trying to go through the defender to get to the rim.
Lee leaves his the big man out on the floor for now, despite the fact that he picked up his 3rd personal. And here's Cruiser. And an offensive foul going back the other way. That more size on size this time. Cruiser and Hagedorn both listed 6'10".
Yeah, I thought Hagedorn did a pretty good job moving his feet that time. In legal guarding position when Cruiser made contact. But again, that's not really Rocky Cruiser's game. Putting it on the deck and trying to drive that far.
Hey, there, Peterson. Oh, that's a tough fit with the left hand there as Tyler Peterson continues his strong night.
he is playing like a senior in a big-time game.
Cruiser spots up for three and swirls it home. Second three of the night for Rocky Cruiser. He's got 8 points now, and the lead is 8 for North Dakota State.
Give Rocky Cruiser some credit. He took 3 threes, and none of them looked great, and now he's hit his last 2.
Stanley Amude with an answer on the other end. Wasn't a whole lot to be said about the three-point shooting in the first half, but now we see a couple back-to-back here in the early stages of the second. Dakota State will inbound here with 22 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, Jay, to your point, though, both these teams are very good three-point shooting teams. We've talked about it in the first half, so it wouldn't surprise me to see them both start to heat up.
Cruiser wants another. This one's short. Pass there, trying to get a little too fancy with the no look, is looking for Hagedorn.
Not a bad idea to get the ball moving quickly, but Amude just didn't have a good grip on it either, and like you said, kind of the no look.
Ward picks up his dribble, now spins around Hagedorn and scores. Nice little finish there for Tyson Ward.
Ward having a very efficient night. 4 for 4 from the field. This shows you the maturity and how much he's grown up. He's not forced a lot of stuff in this game.
Amude left the target there, and a foul on the rebound. Will go against Tyree Edey. And that's his first. Not a good look at it here.
Yeah. Hagedorn kind of battling there. That's the thing that North Dakota State, why I said that one of their keys to the game is make sure they win the glass, because they are matching up smaller players on Hagedorn.
Hagedorn over Edey.
That's not the kind of three-point look South Dakota wants to give for Tyler Hagedorn. They need to free him up better than that.
And East runner won't go. Tristan Simpson trying to push the issue for South Dakota. Now he'll back it out. It's the gas again, and it's out of bounds off the leg of Simpson. So it'll go as another turnover for the Coyotes. That's 12 now on the ballgame.
Again, this is a South Dakota team in Summit League play, Jay, only averaging a little over 9 turnovers a game. On the season, about 10.5, as you mentioned earlier, which is top 10 in the country. So this is very unusual to see them turning it over at this rate.
Working around into the hands of Samuelson, and that's a guy who can certainly hurt you from the outside. That's his first triple of the ball game. And it's the largest lead of the night now for North Dakota State at 10 points.
USD really needs a solid possession here offensively.
Peterson all alone there as Ward hit the deck. 14 now for Tyler Peterson.
Now South Dakota's running some nice action along the baseline, some screening to get Peterson open in the post.
They almost poked that one away. Instead, Edey goes in, gets the finish plus the foul. One in convincing fashion back in mid-January up in Fargo. 80-36 was the final in that one, but Jory Collins and the Bison have turned things around in a big way on the women's side. They have made some big strides in year one under Collins. Edey's free throw is good to complete the three-point play, and a new largest lead for North Dakota State. They've stretched it to 11.
They're just doing a terrific job defending. And right now, at the current pace, South Dakota's going to score 56 points in this game, Jay. And coming into this game here, South Dakota had averaged 88 points per game in their last 9. I mean, they have been on a tear offensively. North Dakota State just shutting them down on this end.
Need almost took that away from Amude, and now Ward called for the reach in. second for him. Third team foul for the Bison here in the second half.
Now the first step for South Dakota is they got to take care of the basketball. They've already had 3 turnovers in this half. They got to quit doing that, or they're not going to give themselves a chance. Second, I really think they got to get Amude and Hagedorn going here.
Kristen Simpson, nice find there from Stanley Amude. Spotted Simpson in the corner, and he knocks down the triple. 5 points on the night so far for Simpson. Great balance on this end of the floor for North Dakota State. You've got Vinny Shaheed with 15, Edie with 10. And now Cam Hunter, the bucket plus the foul. So another chance at a 3-point play for North Dakota State. This foul going against Cody Kelly.
This is an offensive set that North Dakota State will go to at points in the game where they just kind of try to run some false motion at times. They're moving the basketball side to side here, trying to kind of lull you to sleep a little bit, and then they will look to attack to the rim, and we've seen on the last 2 possessions them getting to the rim and finishing.
Hunter does not get the free throw. The lead stays at 10. Here's Chisholm driving in on Griesel. Shaheed spots up with Amude closing. Long rebound goes right back to Shaheed, but his putback won't go either. And now a foul there will be whistled against Cruiser. Excuse me, I think they got Griesel instead, so that's 3 for Griesel. Sophomore out of Lincoln, Nebraska. To as many as 11 here in the second half. It's currently 10. South Dakota has been out of sorts all night offensively, whether it's been turning it over or just North Dakota State making life difficult for the Coyotes on that end.
South Dakota going at this smaller lineup now. Amude basically playing the 5. You see him miss there, Jay. Tough night. Just 2 for 9 for the field, only 5 points.
Hagedorn 4 of 16 combined thus far. That's a huge blow to this offense. Explains why the point total is as low as it is. You got 2 guys there averaging over 35 a game between the 2 of them. Kelly with a deep 3, and South Dakota needed that in a big way. 4th 3 of the night. USD 40% from 3. It's actually not a bad percentage at all, but they're getting a little bit more room to work than they did in the first half anyway, or at least finding it. Simpson poked it away, and it's out of bounds. That'll be a turnover for North Dakota State. Second of the half for Dave Richmond's crew. Gives them 10 for the ball game.
Todd Lee continues to go with Tyler Hagedorn on the bench, the smaller lineup here. So Amude's got Rocky Cruiser guarding him. See, can they get Amude maybe in some space, force Cruiser to have to get out?
Kelly 2 in a row, and just like that, it's a 4-point ball game. Boy, the Coyotes would love to see Kelly get it going again. He's been struggling from the field here of late. Over his last 3 games, down around 6.5 points per game, Brad, but he's been shooting at 30% clip from the field. And now another turnover. Good defense there for South Dakota again. Back-to-back turnovers for the Bison, and the Coyotes a chance here to get even closer now.
That was a really nice timeout by Todd Lee. A lot of coaches don't want to take one when you've still got a lot of game left, but I think he really felt like it was a tipping point of the game. His team was down 10. Since then, a 6-0 run here to get this thing to a 4-point margin. Now a chance to trim it even more.
Kelly's got it in his hands again. Kelly guarded by Ward. He driving baseline, goes right past him and lays it in. 8 straight points for Cody Kelly, and it's 48-46 North Dakota State.
Well, whatever was said to Cody Kelly in that timeout He has personally gone on an 8-0 run here. Completely changed the complexion of this game.
Guys that have gone more than 2.5 minutes without a point. Tyson Ward trying to change it. And he can't do it. It's in and out. Amude going around. Cruiser off the window. It's good. Plus the foul. And a chance at a three-point play. What a turn of events.
Amude needs to do if Rocky Cruiser's going to be guarding him. Now, they just took Cruiser out of the game, so North Dakota State's going to match USD's small lineup with a small lineup of their own. That was great recognition by Amude to know, okay, you've got a bigger guy on it. Take him to the rim. You've got the athleticism and the quickness advantage in that particular exchange.
11-0 run now for South Dakota. They've scored 14 out of the last 17 points until that one right there from Tyson Ward. So Coyotes get the lead back briefly, and the Bison climb right back on top thanks to their senior out of Tampa, Florida. Cam Hunter hits the deck. Tyler Peterson doesn't like it at all.
Yeah, they're starting to double team him now. And North Dakota State's getting wise to what South Dakota's trying to do. They're trying to free up Peterson with this baseline screen. I don't know if we'll be able to see it here. A little flex action, but Hunter did a great job of just jumping that screen and being in position. Tyler Peterson just flat ran him over.
Peterson almost creates the turnover there, but it got a piece of the sideline, so it'll stay with North Dakota State.
That's just great hustle there. Tyler Peterson getting around, getting a hand on it. I tell you, it's been a lot of fun to watch the matchup with Peterson and Ward in particular. Those two have been really guarding each other for the entire game so far that they've been in there.
Peterson has the advantage offensively. 14 points to Ward's 11. And now Amude swats Friesel's shot. He got caught up in midair. Really had nowhere to go with it. Now here's Amude trying to get around Friesel, and he'll head back to the free throw line. And this is what Todd Lee wants to see out of Stanley Amude. This kind of aggression. When he gets to the free throw line, South Dakota is a different team offensively.
Yeah, he on the season in Summer League play gets there about 5 times a game. But get this, Jay, in the last 2 games, this is hard to believe. Stanley Amude has had 29 free throw attempts in his last 2 games. Now, granted, he's had 28 and 26 points, so that's a big reason why.
At 24 in the loss at Oral Roberts, 14 of those came at the free throw line. Had 28 in the win over Western Illinois last week. And as you said, a bunch of that again coming from the charity stripe. And now some big ones here over the last couple of minutes for Amude. This one comes up short.
Who would have thought USD goes on this big run to get this game tight without Tyler Hagedorn on the floor?
Shaheed has been quiet here in the second half, but he gets around the defense and scores that time. That's the first field goal of the second half for Vinny Shaheed, who had 15 in the opening 20 minutes. Simpson, strong take off the baseline. He was looking to catch and shoot there, Brad, and redirected himself. Ended up scoring anyway.
Again, just been a terrific matchup. Here it is. Simpson and Shaheed, 2 veteran guards, have gone right at each other most of the night as well.
Samuelson with Kelly all over him. Now they'll reset 10 on the shot clock, and again Shaheed drops to Ward, and Amude got a piece, but that's going to be the 4th foul on Stanley Amude now, and Tyler Hagedorn might have to come back into the game now. Yeah,
this is going to be unfortunate for USC because they're going to lose their hottest and maybe most dynamic scorer right now, prior to some foul trouble here with still 9:42 to go. I'll tell you though, that is, again, just all created by Vinny Shaheed, and acted like he was going to use the ball screen, faked using it, and just drove hard to the rim.
Ty Chisholm checks back in along with Hagedorn. As Amude heads to the bench, Cody Kelly will get a break as well. And Extended rest there for Hagedorn. With South Dakota having so much success with that smaller lineup. What can the senior out of Norfolk, Nebraska do to help the team now that he's back out there? It's been a quiet night for him, especially by his standards. Just 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting to this point.
Okay, South Dakota just continues to run flex screen action off the baseline.
For the top, Hagedorn drops it off. Chisholm. Now he gets caught up, had it poked away.
And North Dakota State got what they wanted because they forced Hagedorn to give it up.
Edie working on Armstrong. Kicks it out. Here's Ward now. Peterson, good job closing that off. Now Ward creates some space and an ugly looking shot.
I'd say the first kind of forced action that Ward has had in this game, Jay. I think he's been terrific up to this point. Taking high quality shots. Why he's got 12 points on just 8 looks.
Want to get it inside to Armstrong, who's got a bit of a size advantage on Shaheed there. Now Simpson. 10 on the shot clock. Chisholm looking to get to the rim. He does. Can't get it to go. Last touch by South Dakota.
What a job by Rocky Cruz there. Moved his feet just enough here. And didn't foul the estimation of the officials there on that contest. And North Dakota State with their lineups, they have not shied away from potential mismatches, and they've just kind of lived with them, knowing that if they switch a lot of stuff, they're probably going to be better off taking away some of the three-point looks because of it.
He draws the foul there on Armstrong, and 2 more free throws coming up for Vinny Shaheed. He's already 4 of 4 at the stripe tonight.
Now Vinny Shaheed, a smart player. He had a step on Armstrong, and you can see he just kind of creates that contact, draws the foul. That's what a veteran guard will do for you. Gets himself again to the foul line.
Talk about his efficiency at the stripe. And he has lived it here tonight until that one. Rare miss for Vinny Shaheed at the free throw line.
Still 15 points for Shaheed in the first half, Jay. He only has 2 in this half. That's helped fuel this comeback as well for South Dakota. Trailed by 11 at one point.
They did 3 in the second half. 18 for the night for Shaheed. The lead is 3 for the Bison. Simpson now working on Ward. Gets around him, can't get it too strong.
South Dakota's got to really stay focused there. North Dakota State's going to make them guard for long stretches.
And a foul will go against Ty Chisholm there.
Officials pointing to the restricted arc on this call. Is signifying, excuse me, that it was a restricted arc call.
First trip to the free throw line tonight for Rocky Cruiser. Another good foul shooter for David Richmond in the Bison. He's 80% on the year. Junior out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
Say, who isn't a good free throw shooter for NDSU, though, right? I mean,
there really
they're
is
great up and down their lineup.
Edie's 68%. That's about the only one you can point to. Tyler Witz doesn't get a lot of attempts. Hasn't played yet tonight. He's the backup 5-man for North Dakota State. He's down in the 60s. Other than that, it's 70 plus all across the board. The lead back to 5 for North Dakota State. The Coyotes have made a charge, even got the lead briefly. But the Bison have answered everything to this point. Now Cruiser a block.
Rocky Cruiser has had to really deal with some tough matchups on the defensive end, and he's answered the call, shutting down some drives from quicker players.
He wants to find some room here if he can.
NDSU, a team that is not not afraid to show some patience when they need to on this end.
Shot clock winding down here. Hag switches off to help. Late shot clock. Cruiser's got to get something up. 17-footer is good. That's a tough shot there in desperation mode for Rocky Cruiser, and he knocks it down. Cruiser's got 10 points now.
You're right, Jay. That was desperation mode, but Cruiser didn't act desperate.
Right.
He really took his time and got a good look.
And a foul called underneath. Samuelson whistled as he battled for position of it with the much larger Tyler Hagedorn there.
Yeah, those are the kind of mismatches we've seen all night. North Dakota State still found ways to really defend pretty well. And quite frankly, I mean, they've done what they've wanted to do against Tyler Hagedorn. They've pretty much taken him out of this game offensively. Hagedorn only 6 points, came in averaging 20.
17th foul for North Dakota State, so it was a 1-and-1. Hagedorn hit the front end to earn the bonus. South Dakota 18 fouls to this point, so we're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way.
And certainly both these teams are great at the line, so I'm not sure that that really tips the scale in favor either way.
8 points now for Hagedorn. 59-54 North Dakota State. Cruiser on the run. Didn't quite get that one to fall. Wide open three for Hagedorn. Doesn't miss many of those.
You know, though, he hasn't been able to take a lot of threes in this game, and he just hasn't had the rhythm from the three-point line that we would typically see for him in a game. I think that has a lot to do with why he missed that one.
Edey driving in on Chisholm. Now he'll leave it back for Ward. Under 10 again to shoot for North Dakota State. Working some clock. Ward pulls up. Well defended there for Tyler Peterson.
Yeah, terrific. You could not defend that better than what Peterson did.
Chisholm crosses over all the way to the rim. Ty Chisholm. The lay-in is good. He's got 4 points off the bench for the Coyotes, and it's a 3-point ball game. Timeout on the floor for North Dakota State with 5:22.
Here on both ends of the floor, Jay, about not picking up his fifth. I would say USD might be as worried about him picking up an offensive foul as a defensive one.
Shaheed, foul will be on the floor. Shot won't count. Goes against Chisholm, but it's almost as good as a layup most of the time if you put Chisholm on the free throw line. The benefit here is he doesn't get a chance at a three-point play.
Yeah. Well, all these guards, you know, if you give them space, they're tough to guard one-on-one. Shaheed showed why right there.
That was the 19th foul for South Dakota, so still a 1-on-1 here. Shaheed got the first to earn the bonus, but it'll be 2 free throws from here on out for North Dakota State. Ron Bison still sitting at 17 fouls. So some work to do there for South Dakota to earn that same advantage at the free throw line. 61-56 North Dakota State. Cody Kelly, who had those 8 straight points to help get the Coyotes back in this game, hasn't scored since. Chisholm. Too much that time. Got it back, and he's fouled on the putback attempt. And it goes against Tyson Ward. That'll be number 3 for him.
There have not been very many offensive rebounds for either team in this game, but that was a huge one for Ty Chisholm to come up with that one. And now he's got to capitalize from the free throw line here. Get under 5 minutes. He's become huge for both teams.
55% at the line on the year. Gets that one. Chisholm, a guy who did not score in the first meeting between South Dakota and North Dakota State. In fact, he played just 5 minutes. He played big minutes in this game tonight and been productive with them.
Yeah, they needed him on both ends of the floor. He's been a key defender on this end, and we've already talked about how well he's been able to get to the rim offensively.
Ward driving in on Amude again. 4 fouls. The junior from San Antonio, Texas. Edie trying to use that advantage on Simpson, and a good rebound there for Chisholm.
Pretty good look for NDSU. I think they got what they wanted there offensively.
Iowa assistant coach Brad Davison calling out the offense here.
Trying to get Amude the ball. Again, he has had the hot hand of late.
Floater won't go. Rebound is there for Peterson, and a jump ball there. Called from behind. The arrow favors North Dakota State.
Wow, what a play by Samuelson coming from behind here to get a hand on this. And probably the right call, because there was definitely simultaneous possession there for a decent amount of time. That's huge that the arrow goes to NDSU though here. They get a stop now.
Samuelson stands favorably listed 6'3".
Yeah.
Not a shot blocker by any means, but he gets a big one there to force the change of possession. Now Shahid shakes off Peterson. Riesel got it back. Now Simpson. Are they going to call that on Tristan Simpson? But why is it so big? North Dakota State gets 2 free throws out of that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an unusual situation with the ball getting thrown out like that. Tell you what, though, it may end up helping here, USD. I mean, it's got this crowd fired up here, and they didn't already have enough to cheer about. They're going to be even more on edge here in the last 3:40.
Samuelson now 17 of 18 at the free throw line on the year. Former walk-on. Was the Nebraska Player of the Year at Gretna High School before making his way to Fargo, and all he's done is carve himself out a really nice little career.
Yeah, no question. Big free throws right there to get this to 6.
It's 5 points on the night for him, but that one, or those two rather, were large. Hagedorn working on Ward, and a late foul call there as he tried to go up. And that's going to be 4 now on Ward. So the foul's starting to mount on some key players on both sides. You've got Amude with 4 and Chisholm with 4 for South Dakota. And now Tyson Ward and Sam Griesel with 4 apiece for North Dakota State.
That was a great job by USD getting it into Hagedorn. If they're going to continue to put much smaller players on him, they can get him the ball, and he can be very effective down low. And that's the risk that Dave Richmond has chosen to kind of go with in this game. It's worked fairly well for his group up to this point.
Hagedorn now 5 of 6 at the free throw line, into double figures for the 27th time this season. But it's been a much tougher road to get there tonight than it has been normally for the senior out of Norfolk, Nebraska. 4-point ball game here, and Shahid backs it out. Will work some clock.
See the double team.
Corner look for Samuelson is there. It's off the back iron, but a big offensive board for Tyson Ward, and a 20-second reset of the shot clock.
Now Ward just used his 6'6" frame to go up and get that over the smaller Simpson.
Good look for Samuelson in the corner, one he knocks down more often than not. Now Shahid, tough falling away shot, ridiculous hit there for Vinny Shahid. That is a tough one.
That was big time. And Shahid, who's had a tough second half, gets his team a giant hoop.
Tyler Peterson inside, converts. 16 now for Peterson, but the Coyotes got to stop trading baskets. 65-61.
USD needs to try to see if they can find a way to get a stop here and the rebound.
2 minutes to play. Cruiser for 3, and it's a big one for Rocky Cruiser, his 3rd of the night.
Cruiser has been huge in this game on both ends of the floor. None bigger than that one.
15 points for Rocky Cruiser, and it stretches the North Dakota State lead to 7 with 1:50 to play. Timeout dealt with and has worn the brace down the last couple of games, but hasn't affected his shooting here in the second half. As we told you earlier, he's still scored 8 straight points at one point. And now, speaking of scoring, Tyler Peterson has 18 on the ball game to lead South Dakota.
Let's see here. Does South Dakota try to increase pressure here? Are they going to let North Dakota State run 30 seconds off this clock? And it looks like it's going to be the latter, which puts a lot of pressure here on USD. They've got to really lock in here.
And NDSU get another big shot late in the game. Shaheed says yes, but that one won't go, and Hagedorn flies in for the rebound.
Not a good possession there for the Bison.
Deep three for Hagedorn, just a touch too strong. And Griesel grabs the board. Kyle's trying to get a foul, and instead, Dave Richmond gets a timeout with 52.9 seconds remaining. 9 seconds remaining. North Dakota State to inbound. And this is not the guy you want to foul if you can avoid it for South Dakota. Shaheed gets called, or gets the foul call after all. He was towing that line of an over and back. And they got the whistle instead. So this is the guy who goes to the free throw line. As we told you, 94% in conference play. Does have one miss here.
Another tough one that went against South Dakota. I tell you, boy, they almost had the turnover there. He just narrowly staying on his side of half court.
And Shaheed a chance to stretch the lead back to 7 here with 47.6 seconds remaining. South Dakota's going to have to go quick.
Yeah, this is the big one here.
Second one is no good.
Just a 2-possession game, so still chance here for USD.
Tristan Simpson looking to go to the rim. Got it, plus the foul. And a chance at a three-point play. I think the foul's on Cruiser. His 4th. And Simpson now will head to the free throw line for a big attempt here.
They got the switch. Simpson got downhill. Boy, I tell you, Jay, that's a really tough call against Rocky Cruiser. I thought he moved his feet well. Simpson, to me, created all that contact. I didn't think Cruiser did anything wrong there.
Stayed pretty vertical.
I tell you, South Dakota will take it, though. Missed free throw by Shaheed, and now they've got a chance to get this thing to 3.
Simpson's free throw is good. 12 points for Tristan Simpson. He's 5 of 6 at the free throw line. Now South Dakota does not need to foul here.
No, but they might try to foul a little bit just to extend this thing. You know, I think the 7-second differential, that was going to be a tough situation for USD, probably knowing you need a 3 off of that. So I don't mind this decision.
Ty Chisholm fouls out of the ball game. 28.6 seconds remaining. And the shooter here will be Cam Hunter. Hunter 78% at the free throw line on the year. 2 of 3 here tonight. Benny Shaheed, a couple of misses at the free throw line here in the second half, and it's one reason that South Dakota's as close as they are right now. Griesel, after some confusion, will check into the ball game, replacing Cruiser.
I think Dave Richmond just wanting to go with a little smaller lineup, more athletic to try to defend here.
Hunter hits a couple of big ones. The lead back to 5. Shot clock is off. Hagedorn for 3. Got it! 71-69. Timeout South Dakota with 22.9 seconds remaining.
We've talked about North Dakota State is a terrific free throw shooting team as a team up and down their lineup.
Ward trying to get it in quickly, finds Hunter. And now they break the pressure. Shaheed into the front court.
South Dakota should have fouled a lot quicker in the backcourt. Those were a precious 8 seconds that just went off the clock. And the reason I say this is I'm thinking ahead here. More than likely, North Dakota State's probably going to make both of these. As good a free throw shooting team as they are, I think you're going to need 2 more offensive possessions if you're South Dakota in this game. And now that's going to be a lot tougher.
Take a look at the contact here between Shaheed and Kelly. Hard collision here as South Dakota at this point was just trying to get the foul no matter what, and they got it. And Shaheed back to the free throw line. He's 8 of 10 on the night. Both misses coming here in the second half. No problem there. Riesel and Edey return for North Dakota State. Amude comes back on the floor for South Dakota. Hunter and Cruiser will sit for the Bison. Armstrong hits to the bench for the Coyotes.
No timeouts here for South Dakota. If he happens to miss this, they got to go. They got to go either way here. But
so 4-point game, 73-69. Tristan Simpson pulls up for a deep 3. It's off the front iron. Rebound for Shaheed. And another foul here, and that might do it now for North Dakota State with just 7.9 seconds remaining. What do you think about that shot?
I think I would have liked to see Simpson try to penetrate a little bit more, see if they could get Hagedorn freed up. But you needed to take a quick 3. You didn't have a ton of time, so at this point in the game, and again, that just goes back to how much time they let off the clock earlier, Jay.
Cody Kelly is fouled out now for South Dakota as well, bringing Brandon Armstrong back into the game. What'd we say? He missed a couple, Brad, but more often than not, he's going to step up in the big moment and make them, and he's hit 3 straight now.
I got to give North Dakota State a lot of credit for their poise down the stretch here, and a lot of credit for what they've done defensively in this game. They're holding USD under 70. That's saying something.
Simpson all the way to the rim, lays it in, 75-71. Quick foul there as Tyson Ward gets the inbound. That one will go against Tyler Peterson. It's his 4th, 2.7 remaining.
Jay, South Dakota lost at North Dakota State on January 15th. 9 games since then, they'd averaged 88 points USD had. And North Dakota State held them to 70 the first time they played. They've got them sitting here at 71 right now. So the Bison are going to walk out of here with a win because of what they did defensively here tonight.
It'll be their 8th road win of the season. They're 4th in the Summit League, Brett. We talk about the value of the home win in conference play, but whatever you can. Oh, and Tristan Simpson gets it from half court at the